there's this juicy little fucked up nugget of something that happens in the relationship between the adult child and the parent that almost no one sees. And it's a revelation when I tell my clients about it. When an adult child moves from 20s into 30s, really, it can happen earlier, it can happen later, but generally that's when the movement happens. There's a shift in the power in the relationship between that now adult child and the older parent. And the shift is this. What I have to reveal to my clients is you now have the power. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What we've already discovered in working with the client is my client, this adult child now moving into 30s, 40s, etc., is still wanting acknowledgement of the things that the parent did wrong, is still wanting that parent's approval or that parent's acceptance. And so if they haven't gotten it, they see that parent as having the power because the adult child is still needing that affirmation of their worth, that validation, that fulfillment that you are lovable and you are wantable and you matter. And because they're not getting it, they feel like they are in a position of no power, that they are in a position of lack and wanting something. And of course, whenever we want something from someone, they have the power to make us miserable by withholding it. So my clients, whether in their 30s or 40s or 50s, they're still wanting something from that parent. And therefore, it is perceived that the parent has the power because the parent doesn't have to own the shit that they did or the shit they didn't do. But what I have to help my clients see is actually they have the power. And when I tell them that, they're like, what the hell are you talking about, old man? And I tell them, here's the scoop. You actually have 3 forms of power because as you age, that means your adult parent is aging too. And as an adult parent ages, do you want to know the 3 things that they want most? 1, they want you. It's not an absolute, it's not always, but more often than not, when we get into our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, we want to be close to our children. Therefore, you now have something they want. You have power. You have the power to say, no, I need you to own your shit. Maybe we can have a relationship, but I need you to own your shit. And if you ain't gonna do it, no, I don't want to spend time with you. I don't feel obligated. I don't think I need to honor my father and my mother when you already breached the contract decades ago. So you have the power of having something they want, and that is simply you. The second power you have is in some ways much more powerful. And that is you have the power to influence, change, or completely rewrite the family narrative. And the family narrative in the eye of that parent very often is, I was a great parent. Therefore, when you pull away from them or when you call them out on the shit that they did, you are influencing, you are butting up against the very myth system that they believe in that confirms their worth as a parent, but then as a person. They've invested so much of themselves into raising you that they believe they were a good parent, and therefore they also believe that their very identity is good. So by you saying, I don't want to be with you, you are invalidating the very truth that they have built their own sense of self on. You have power. And for the record, don't be surprised if when you bump up against that family narrative, and remember, family narratives exist to protect the person at the top of the food chain. So when you bump up against it, or when you say, no, you fucked up, no, you never fucking gave me fucking love, right? You didn't support me, you undermined me, or whatever it was, you are bumping up against the very thing that keeps them at the top of the food chain. And don't be surprised if they invoke all manner of leverage to shut you down, to squelch your truth, or even to cut you out. That includes potentially turning other parents against you or turning your own siblings against you. But whatever it is, they will employ, and one of the common ones we all hear is, oh, kids, they grow up, you need to get over it, you need to take responsibility of your life. In other words, they're employing shame. The shame that you, child, are the problem. And as long as that adult child, now in their 30s or 40s, still believes that the parent has the power and is still sort of stuck in that conditioning of childhood that, gosh, I'm in a position of subordinacy. I'm the subordinate, they are the dominant, they have the power. Therefore, their shame hurts. And that is why the parent employs it. That is why so many parents employ it. The kid is fucked up. I'm not fucked up. The kid is fucked up. They're employing shame to try to keep you down. But in fact, the mere fact that they're employing that shame, that leverage, that sense of guilt, that sense of you owe me, says that they're threatened. Otherwise, why would they employ it? They're threatened because you are rattling the very foundations of their sense of self and their sense of identity by saying, no, you fucked up and I want you to own your shit. But the third power that you have is in some ways the most powerful. I would offer that the second one is perhaps the most powerful, but the third one is just, it's gold. It's ugly as shit. It's nasty, it's ugly, it's scary, but it's the truth. If you have kids, you are now the gatekeeper for the grandparents to have time with their grandkids. And it's ugly, and I am not a fan at all, zero, of leveraging children. But the bottom line is, why the hell would they want to let you near? If you're that older parent, why the hell would they want to let you near your grandkids if you haven't changed? If you don't own your shit, if you don't apologize when you've hurt someone. I wouldn't let someone near my kid if they don't apologize, because what if they accidentally hurt the kid? What if they act out of selfishness and inflict emotional harm on the child? Are they not going to apologize? Oh, fuck that shit. I don't want that around my children, right? So what you may not realize as you're into your 30s and 40s is that you have the power. You have the power of you have the power of influence or outright controlling or changing the family myth, and you have the power of the grandkids. Changes things a bit, doesn't it? Have a kick-ass day.